Right. Welcome back to Bear News, a hotly anticipated return of Bear News ahead of the 2021 season. I'm joined today by newly appointed second team captain Will Ullyott. Bagsy, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, mate. I'm actually going to start today with actual Bear news. Some of the boys have been pretty busy in the off season. Even just our little chat before, Bags, you've told me a couple of other things that have been happening. So on the cricketing side of things, couple of new signings. So we've got Meeks, Paul van Meeken joining us as a pro, and we've got Cody Youssef as well coming over as our South African overseas. Two massive signings, I think, for the first 11 there. Had a lot of firepower with the ball and handy with the bat as well. We've also got the return of Archie Shannon. So Shannon left us for a couple of years to go to the dark side of South Notts and play for Ullyott, but he's back up north and back at the Bear Pit. So great to have Shan back. And we've also signed a young lad from Mansfield Hosiery Mill. So Joe Maltby joins us to play a part in the second 11. So pretty happy with those signings, Bags.
Yeah, it's good. Great to have Archie back. He's always been a little. We've seen him
it's
grow.
A family show, Will. It's a family show.
Certain words I can't say, but no, he's always a great laugh to have around. He'll be borderline ones and twos. I'd love to have him in the twos, but then obviously if he's bowling well, then T-Bag will obviously pick him.
Yeah, great stuff. Lads have been pretty busy outside of cricket as well, so I've got a pretty long list here of stuff that's happened. So Langers has had a baby. Yes. So little Rory Langford joined us pre-Christmas. Halls has got engaged, so he's finally took the plunge and got down on the knee and proposed to Sarah. So big congratulations to Halls. I'm having a kid. So that was nice. Back end of last season. So there'll be a little baby ball joining us on the first Saturday of the new season. So an interesting conversation to be had with the missus about availability there. Denzel, he's also been really busy. He obviously got engaged to Penny back end of last season, but he's now having a kid. And then you've mentioned to me, Bags, that we've got Jacko's engaged, Mossy's having a kid, and then Jammy's done both and gone the double of having a kid and getting engaged. And you're buying a house with the missus as well, mate. So you're taking the plunge as well.
Yeah, we're potentially moving in May, hopefully, all going well. But yeah, a lot happened. It seems
it does
in a very short period of time.
The boys have taken lockdown and ran with it, mate. Talking of commitment and women and all that type of stuff, I've not heard anything too much from your brother. I'm assuming he's still living the single life down in the smoke on various dating apps.
Well, I mean, it's down to him to share certain things, but he's not so single anymore. I'll leave it. With that.
Very interesting. A Bear News bombshell. T-Bag's keeping one on the quiet. Hopefully he doesn't miss any cricket like he did a couple of seasons ago to go.
Yeah, he's got that in him now, hasn't he?
He definitely has. You know, he set the precedent. We all know how that went. Dave Betts was obviously really pleased that he missed that game. But no, if T-Bag's back on the dating scene, then they're good for him, mate. Good for him. We're not getting any younger, Will, are we?
Exactly.
Couple of other things again outside cricket. Nick Keys did something ridiculous and ran 100k. I mean, what an absolutely ridiculous effort that is. So a big well done to Keysty for that achievement, and obviously for raising money for the charity as well. And Alex Jervis as well. He's been doing a bit of a bike ride, so raising some funds for Yorkshire Disability Cricket as well. So a couple of great fundraising efforts from a couple of Bears there. And then obviously the main news, I guess, in the off season is we've got Moz back. So just your thoughts on that, Bags? Great to have Moz back.
Yeah, Moz was with us for, I don't even know now. I'm probably going to slip up here, but 10 years previous, something like that. And for me, kind of like, I just kind of always remember him like taking us to the next level. Like he was the one that like pushed us to the finals day, but in the T20s. He's always loved the big tournaments, which is why we've done so well. Like obviously he brought the titles after a few years of being in the Prem. So yeah, Moz is just epic to have around. He helps everyone out, like training behind the scenes, on match days. I've heard he's potentially going to put some time into the two as well, which would beautiful. For the first time I'd love a hand. But yeah, great to have him back.
No, absolutely. I'd echo that. It's a massive coup to get Mozza back. So we're all looking forward to working with him again. There's been a lot of moves and shakers from a captaincy and vice captaincy point of view as well. And we were just talking before. We can't remember who's gone where. So if anybody does want any more information on that, it's Richard Bostock will be your man to get that info from. So we mentioned just at the start, Bags, that you've taken over as second 11 captain on a permanent basis. You obviously did it a bit last season when Bozzy stepped up to the ones. Thoughts on that, and I guess aspirations for the season?
Yeah, really happy with it. I mean, aspirations for the season, like we want to win obviously we want to win every game. Everybody does, but I think we've got enough to win the league, to win the Champo. That'd be a nice one. Like obviously it's always slightly different in the second team because we don't have pros, we don't have overseas, so we're always up against them. So it's always like slightly harder, but at the same time we're a big club. I've said for a good few years, and it's a pretty big unsubstantiated claim that for me, Cockney's the best club in Nottinghamshire. But then you've got to be able to back that up. So if we were to win, and we should really in the next 3-4 years be able to win a Champo and another Prem, I'd be relatively confident of that. Then you can really put the markers down. But the second team's strong. Like with the second team, it always depends on the first. So if the ones are strong, the seconds are strong, and we've got enough talent to beat anybody in that league.
Absolutely, mate.
It's just putting it together.
I definitely agree with that. So have you got any? I know I played a couple of games with you last season, so saw a couple of the young lads coming through. Who's your hot tip for the season, mate, to maybe make that breakthrough into the first 11?
Who's the hot tip? I mean, it's probably not so hot tips anymore, but Drew and Ewan really are the young ones that are like Ewan batted like a dream last season. I think early season he was batting 8, and then by game 3 he was opening up and getting 50s. So yeah, it was definitely an oversight on our part for him to be batting so low down. And the kind of same weirdly happened with Drew. Like Drew was telling me for weeks that he could bat, and I had this understanding that he was just a bowler. Gave him a chance against Welbeck. Yeah, Welbeck. The first game he got 60, which was incredibly pleasing, and then he opened up for the rest of the season. So I'd say Drew and Ewan are the young boys that are the ones to watch. Deebs has obviously come back into the setup due to bowling injury, but he's always got runs for the twos. Who else is looking to have a big season? Tongy did great last season. Again, with the bat, as much with the ball, he's slightly injured early season, so he couldn't really bowl too much. But then back end of the season, all throughout the season with the bat, he turned up like 6 and 7. He was smashing runs all day.
No, so definitely.
They'd be my ones to watch.
Yeah, and Tongy's just a great guy to play with, and the Strava activity.
Not sure about that.
Honestly, the Strava activity we've been seeing from Tongy over the past couple of weeks.
Really?
Weight sessions here, weight sessions. Not so much of the cardio I've seen coming through from Tongy, but a lot of weight sessions. Just talking on that, a couple of the boys have obviously been quite active on Strava. So there's been a bit of a group set up, and there's been some miles being pounded. Not quite seeing you step up to the plate yet, Will. You keep yourself fit?
I've got knee issues, mate.
Okay.
I've got knee issues. I've been keeping fit though. Like I've been doing my rowing. I've got a rower in the house, so my fitness is top level, mate. Don't worry about me.
Low impact stuff. That's what we're going.
But I've seen some people putting the miles in. T-Bag's been out on his runs. He's always going out after work. But I mean, he's always been the long distance brother, and I've been more of a sprinter, should we say? So yeah. I'll leave it at that. My long distance running has never been much to write home about.
No, it's mate, fit for cricket, mate. Fit for cricket. You're just going to hit boundaries. You don't need to run, do you? So
short sprints, mate.
Right, let's get on with the main part, mate. So I'm going to ask you a couple of quick fire questions now, which is all based around teammates. So shamelessly ripping off the old Soccer AM segment from back in the day. We did say I probably should have prepped you for this before. But we're not, so we're winging it a little bit. So we'll see how this one goes. Let's see how it goes.
Maybe some truth bombs will come out.
maybe.
Apologies in advance if I rip anyone to pieces.
Right. So first one, mate. We'll start nice and steady. A few badger questions. Who was your first mate at Cockney? Brother aside, obviously.
It's got to be Deebs or Goose, I think. So I think we joined when we were 10, maybe 9, 10. And Goose and Deebs were always there. Who else? There was a few, like when we were playing like under 11s and under 13s. But I'd say Deebs and Goose. I'd be pushed memory wise to pick one over the other.
All right. Who did you look up to as a youngster?
Are we talking professional cricketer, or are we talking
within the club, mate?
Within the club.
Teammates. That's a section, Will. Teammates.
Who do you look up to?
Who did you look up to?
Ian Morley's always a live wire. I don't know about looking up to. But Jesus Christ, he created some amusing opportunities on a cricket pitch. But yeah, I can remember playing with him when I was, I don't know, must have been 12, 13. Yeah, he was hot-headed, shall we say, which was funny. The one I looked up to, I mean, oh God, I don't want to say it, but I've got to. It's got to be kind of like Butts and Stroey.
I knew you were going to say
that.
It's
painful, isn't it? It's painful.
You're such a cliche. Oh, Will.
Well, unfortunately, like both of those two, like they were the ones we were championship, and like ever since I don't know how old I was, but probably up until about 18, 19, Cockney was always a championship team. We'd never tasted the Prem, and then Butts came from Sherwood, I think. Jesus Christ. And then
down Debdale Lane, chucking them out.
Yeah, I know. And then they took us to the Prem. Like that first year, I think there was one game where Stroh got 200, and he got a ridiculous amount of runs and wickets. Like both of them having, Butts is still churning them out. So yeah, I've got to say those two really cricketing wise for Cockney.
Fair enough. Let's try to keep this a bit more quick fire then. Here we go. Worst bowler to face in the nets.
For me, Teabag.
What, just because you don't want to get out to him?
Pretty much. I think he got me out in a when we were playing up at school once, and never heard the end of it. And he only ever really bowled at me a few times, but he's always got me out whenever he's bowled. So I've got to say Teabag.
Yeah, mate, I hate Tongi. Do you know, like just arrowing it in at your pad? Do you know, just hits you just below the knee. Someone like him or Josh Porter who bowls off about 15 yards. They're the ones who I hate facing. Who's the worst fielder you've ever played with?
Oh, that's an easy one. It's got to be Connor Garnett. Connor Garnett is. I mean, to be fair to him, he does. I can only like let him off because he has massive nights on a Friday at Chow Bella before, but. Jesus Christ, some of the things that he did last season, he knows it. So, and I've told him, so he's well aware. But yeah, I've got to say CG for his performances last season in the field.
Fair enough. Who would you least like to be in lockdown with?
Who would I least like to be in lockdown with? Ooh, Jesus, that's a tough one. There's a lot of options here. I mean, Teabag's obviously up there. Who else? Tongi's got to be up there. Probably Goose. Questionable. Tongi and Goose because there'd be no food in the fridge. Who else? Oh God, Langers, Mark. Jesus Christ. I mean, it'd be entertainment from start to finish, but at the same time, there's stories that he has. I don't think he'd ever stop. So maybe there's a few very good options there. Like, I don't know. There must be others. I'm probably forgetting people. This is why I should have prepared. But yeah, those guys off the top of my head.
Yeah, I reckon Mark Langford's got a year's worth of stories anyway to see you through lockdown. But who would you least like to go toe to toe with in a drinking competition?
I can imagine it'd be tough against Tongy. Like Murph, I've heard put some away.
I mean, the Champions League final where it was Wilson versus Murphy, mate. I mean, that was an epic battle.
It was, yeah. Like that, I suppose. It'd be nice to have Murph around a little bit more this season, like work commitments approving. But I'd say that probably either Murph or Tongy. I've never really seen Tongy drink too much, but I can imagine he can put them away. Like, and I think Murph take like exactly the Champions League final. Murph took on Goose, and I mean none of them won. Like really, there were
no winners that night.
It was a travesty either way. So. But yeah, they were putting them back. I'd say those two.
I mean, I disagree with you on Tongy. I think he's like a 3 or 4 bottle of Budweiser man and just sneaking away in the corner, snaking away on some women. I don't think he ever allows himself to get that drunk. But who'd be the worst wingman?
Worst wingman. Oh, worst wingman. I've got to say, Goose is a great wingman.
A great.
I've got to give him props for that. Like if nobody's ever seen Goose dance, that boy can move. He's got some twinkle toes for a big lad. Who's the worst though? I mean, Deebs has got to be up there for the worst just because of his stinking chat. He'll probably talk to you about like, I don't know, Excel spreadsheets when if you were trying to get with a bird. So
do you know what? I've got to say, I reckon Deebs has got it in him to like cut up your lunch a little bit and go, do you know what? No, don't go with him. Come with me. I reckon he's got those inner demons.
There's been a few of them over the years.
We'll leave that one there, Will. And we'll move over to person with the worst dress sense.
Worst dress sense. Oh. It's got to be Conor Garnett again. I don't know how he's got 2 mentioned, but Conor Garnett, have you seen some of the shoes that he wears and some of the gears that he wears on nights out? Like, yeah, I've got to say Conor. I can remember him. I mean, he always played at Cutney when he was younger, from young age. I can remember him when he was a lot smaller, but then went to uni, came back thinking he had a bit. And now he's strutting around Mansfield every Friday and Saturday in some horrendous gears. So yeah, Conor Garnett again.
Fair enough. Honourable mention
as well. Actually.
Oh yes.
Dens. I mean, he's
tight jeans.
On jeans most of the time.
Tight jeans.
Yeah.
Honourable mention to Will Butler, who in the past 2 years has started dressing like a 45-year-old man.
Forget that.
The sketches that he wears.
The horrific sketches. My mum's got a pair of sketches. She's fucking 70. Language.
We'll edit that one out. Bozzy, edit that one out, mate. And the final question: who is the longest in the shower?
Longest in the shower. Again, Goose or Deebs like to take an age, but I mean, none of them say they look good. I don't know what they really do in there. It's got to be. I don't know. Maybe Goose has just got a lot to wash. Maybe it's that.
Fair enough. I reckon also Nurse might have taken a long shower in his in his time anyway.
That's definitely true. Jesus Christ.
Again, we'll leave that one there. It's a family show. Will. Bagsy, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, mate. That's the end of this week's Bear News. I'll just end by saying a huge congratulations to Liverpool who put up a massive title defence. Mind the gap, mate. Mind the gap. Bagsy,
you waited for that one, didn't you?
I'll drop that one in at the end, mate. Always a pleasure, Will, and we'll catch up soon, mate.
See you, mate.
Cheers, pal.
Right.